Hello everyone, this is Planckera, and welcome to my universe. So today I wanted to do something a little bit different. I've been wanting to kinda actually do a little bit of studying, and I thought, you know what, why not try it on stream so I can kinda show you how I approach these things. So I decided to grab a picture of the one VTuber that I know is pretty open about her face, and that was Kson. So I grabbed a picture from her Twitter. Because I figured she wouldn't mind people using those things. Hello there, Shinora. Anyway, so my goal here is mostly about proportion and stuff. So I don't actually want a bunch of this other stuff here, and I figured that I would prepare the photo for what I actually wanted to draw on stream too. What I used for the thumbnail was a very quick and dirty version of what I'm going to do here. So, anyway, since I'm not really looking to study color for the moment, I think my colors are pretty good, and frankly, the colors I like to use are... Oops, not fill. Filter. There we go. The colors I like to use are nowhere near realistic to begin with, so maybe I could get something out of... doing a photo study specifically for color, but I don't think that's what I want to do right now. Right now, I just want to focus on proportion, so I am going to eliminate all the color. That's the first thing. This background, way too busy for what I want, so I'm gonna go ahead and get that too. So for that, I'm gonna go ahead and duplicate it, and then I'm gonna make everything super duper blurry. Like, everything. I'm mostly paying attention to background groups here. I'm going to erase the blurry part on her. So I just want to get all of this into, like, one solid value group there. There we go. And then I'll take my airbrush, turn it into an eraser, and just erase the parts that I actually want to draw. And that's basically going to be her face and her body. I am going to go ahead and keep the hand with the kitchen knife because I think it's funny. So I'll go ahead and draw that too. Oh yeah, this way the background will be nice and blurred out and I don't have to focus on any of those things. And I'm actually going to crop it a little bit too. But first, let me just clean this up a little. Maybe I should have used a mask, but, you know, it's fine. I can just do some smudging. I don't really care what the background looks like. As long as I have her lovely face and her lovely knife looking just the way that I want them to. Alright. Okay, yeah, that's... Oh, nope, I want to get her hair here too, but otherwise that's pretty alright. Yeah, I want to get those loose strands out there too. Very important. I want to make sure that all of it is there. Okay. Let me make sure that I'm not missing any spots here. So I'm going to use selection lines for that. Okay. Just make sure that I get all the dirt here. Let's see. Is she totally cut out here? Nope. I see a little bit through here. A little bit. Well, that actually might be okay. So... nope. That part I definitely want to cut out too, so... all of this stuff. We're gonna get one big Kson-shaped hole here. Okay. Are you all emptied out? Maybe I should put in some, like, hot pink or something. As always, when in doubt, just splash hot pink somewhere and things will work out. Alright, I have everything desaturated at the moment, but that's fine. I can take that off for a moment just to make sure I have everything cleared here. Because like, I don't want any of this blurriness to kind of interfere with what I see when I'm really trying hard to copy this reference. Wait. Why am I painting? I should not have been painting. That should have been an eraser. Okay, oh, that's unfortunate. Now I gotta pull some shenanigans. I didn't realize that I was painting there. Whoops. Oh well, these things happen. Yeah, that actually makes sense, because when you pick a color, and you have your brush on eraser mode in Krita, it immediately switches back to being in drawing mode. Okay. But it's okay. So I probably created a little bit more pixel dirt for myself, but at least it's very loud pixel dirt, so I can see it. We'll use green then, just so that this way I can very clearly see anything else here, but it looks like I've got this all pretty clean. Alright, let's turn on my filter again. Okay. And now... this image doesn't have, like, super strong values or anything. I don't think it's what she was going for when she took the picture. I think she was just being funny. Which is fine. So, maybe not an ideal reference for a photo study, but you know what? I want to make it work. So, it's okay. So, I'm going to go ahead and crop out the parts of the background I'm not interested in. Okay. And I'll fix the blurriness, but I think before I do any of that, I want to adjust the values here and make them a little bit more interesting. We're going to make this a little bit more contrasty. So I'm going to push down the darks, bring up the lights. And then there's a lot of stuff like in the midtones. So I want to bring those out too. So that was the simple curves layer. And now I'm going to go into... I don't know, do I want... No, this isn't what I want. Because, yeah, of course, that's a color adjustment. What am I doing? Okay, so I'm just going to go into levels here, and I'm going to decide if I want my midtones a little bit lighter or darker, and try to push things to be a little bit more interesting looking here. What I'd really like to do is I really like this contrast on her face, for example, with her hair. So if I can get her face to be pretty light, this jacket here to be kind of mid-tone-y, and then I get a little bit of extra contrast here, that'd be nice. And I might try to make the knife specifically to be a little bit lighter, just because I think it'd be interesting. I don't know. Maybe it'd actually be okay with how light the background is here. We shall see. So I'm gonna try to adjust some of these things to get it the way I want. And I don't care if the background gets really blown out from this, because like I said, I don't care about the background. I don't care about the background. I'm probably gonna darken the background a little bit here. Maybe I should do that first. Yeah. Let's do that first. Okay, so I think the background is a little bit too light, and it's blowing out a lot of other things. So I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of dim it a little. We're just gonna dim all this a little bit, and I will do my best to avoid touching the reference, or touching Kson herself at all. So she's gonna have a little halo, it's fine. Okay. Yeah, that should be fine. Now let's see if I can have a little bit better luck with my levels here. So now that well, I guess the halo around her is going to be the brightest point, but her face should be a close second. Oh yeah, there we go. There we go. Now I'm getting some nice contrast. Now I'm getting some nice contrast. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna do a little bit more painting here. I want the knife here to just be a little bit lighter. Alright, that's a multiply layer. That's not gonna show. And I want the hand holding it to be a little bit lighter as well. Just so it's not a big mass of gray down there. And all this, strictly speaking, probably not necessary, but, you know. If I'm gonna be studying a photo for a while and staring at it, I want it to be something that's fun to look at. Okay. Alright, I want to try to avoid hitting all our little baby hairs here. But I just want to smear the background here just a little bit. Once again, just kind of get rid of all of the detail in places I'm not super interested in. And I'll just turn this background into a nice wash that she can just be sitting in. Get rid of some of these countertops and stuff back here. Okay. Yeah, that is a little bit too much detail from the background there, so I'm just gonna brush on over it. And then I'll do one more brush on that, brush around on that area that I just darkened in the background. Try to get it a little bit closer to her shoulder. It'll just give me less stuff to be distracted by. Okay. And I don't mind if it looks a little bit smeary. I'm not gonna copy the background closely. So like all this detail by her glasses and stuff that I couldn't completely eliminate, we're probably not gonna draw that. Okay. Just trying to reduce the halo effect here just a little bit. Just because I think it's a little strong. Okay. Wouldn't necessarily say it looks good. Like, if I was doing this for anything other than my own personal use, I'd probably spend more effort on it, but for what I want to do, this is fine. So, I'm gonna go onto my BRB screen real quick. Actually, you know what, before I even do that, let's go ahead and get the size here. 861 by 777. I'll go ahead and create the reference here. 861, 777. And I'm gonna make this like 5 times the size here. Maybe not 5, but I'll bring it up to 3,000. There we go. So that'll be what I paint on. And now that I have all this ready, I'm I'm going to go ahead and save this, and I'm going to open it up as a reference image on here, and we'll get started. Let's copy a photo. I may or may not... Well, you know what? Let me go get the saved. I'll talk while I'm on my BRB screen. So let me just get all this saved and opened up. Okay. So, I don't know if I want necessarily to... go to complete photorealism here. I may or may not. Haven't completely decided. We'll see how far I want to push it, but I will be trying to get it accurate, so things are going to be considerably less anime than usual. Okay, let me load it up here. But nonetheless, I do plan to at least go for a little while until I kind of get everything that I want here. So here we go. Gotta make it big. I'm gonna try to make it about the same size as my canvas. I don't think this is actually that important, but it'll make it a little bit easier to draw. So there we go. Okay. So, this is how I approach my photo studies. First thing is I want to, you know, get the big value groups down. So, do I want to do this all in one layer? Probably not. I'm gonna go ahead and not color pick for once in my life. My ability to see colors is probably not very good because I do normally color pick. I tend to be a little bit more about the outcome than the process. But let's see here. About what shade of gray are you? Maybe somewhere around there. I think I'm pretty off, actually. But this is a study, so... Oh, it's actually darker. Okay, let's, clear that, and I'll try again. Okay, so it's darker than I think it is. This is throwing me off, so I'm just gonna focus on, like, the color over here, and then I'll just put a wash throughout everything else. Okay. Maybe like there? No, still too light. Okay. Art is hard. But this is kind of what study looks like. It's not always very exciting. But I do kind of want to be able to see my values a little bit better, so I do think it is important for me to go in and try to match the colors. Ooh, that's gonna be too dark, right? Yeah. Okay. And the reason that I'm switching it back over to hot pink is just so that this way I reset the colors and can't use it as a guideline to kind of help me out here. So here is too dark, here is too, or right about here is too light. So maybe like here. Still a little bit too dark. Okay, I'm gonna let myself be helped out a little bit here. Okay, that's pretty close. It's a little tiny bit darker. Little tiny bit lighter, but you can see it's starting to disappear. So that's pretty cool. Teeny tiny bit lighter. And there are a couple of values in here like, this one is about correct. So I'll call this good. Alright, so this is roughly this area. And let's see, the highest area of contrast I think is going to be this area by the shoulder here. So I'll go ahead and get something that looks pretty dang close to black. So maybe like right about there. And I'll grab my airbrush and just kind of blob that in here. Okay, let's see how close I got. Pretty close. Nice. Okay, and it looks like it goes down to the side here. Hello there, Leon. Welcome. And I see a little bit more. I think right here is actually a little bit darker than that. No, this is Kson. She's another VTuber. No shot that I'd ever show my face on stream. Okay. So this part right there is a little bit lighter. It's kind of in this general area. It's a little closer to the edge, I think. That is way too big. Okay. How close did I get there? Ooh, I actually made it a little bit too light. Yeah, significantly. Okay. Pick a different color. Let's see here. So if that was way too light, then this is darker than I think it is. That still looks too light. Okay, that's pretty close. Alright, so I'm just trying to get some of the biggest areas in the background at the moment. Just so that this way I have something to ground myself in. But you know what? I think that's probably fine. Because the next big area of contrast is like the weird halo that I put around her because I wanted to edit out the background, but not her. So I'll go ahead and leave it there, and I'll start kind of mapping her face and stuff. Alright, so let's do head. Okay, so how light is her face here? I think I'm going to use my friend, the hard round brush. So, what I see here... Let's see, I actually still have the reference opened up, so I'll go ahead and just come over here for a moment. So the big areas I see, I'll use my hot pink. Naturally, there's the big shape in her hair. So I'll go ahead and trace that. Then I see, another big shape in her glasses here. Let me go ahead and lower the opacity on this. Then I see the big shapes on her eyes here. This whole area here. And then there's another pretty big one underneath her chin here. And I think her lips themselves are notable enough. On her face, besides the eyebrows, which are naturally pretty dark there, there's like a big shape that's going around like this. So this is how I see the world. This is why I draw in weird volumes, because I see light. Well, thank you. Because, well, I'm sure that a lot of people, would say, oh, look, there's a head here. Maybe they'd separate the hair and, do this kind of thing. It's like, I don't know, man. When I look at things, I just see these big masses of light. I'd say there's another pretty big one right there. Side of the nose has a pretty big one. So I'll go ahead and break this down just for a sec here. This kind of goes around like that. And they merge like right there. Although I guess I shouldn't erase that because that's actually from the glasses, which are very black. And then here... I'm less worried about the clothes, but I see a pretty big shadow shape here. Then there's like this dark spot here. I mean, makes sense. Whenever I look at a photo, this is just what I see, and then I see a big old blob of light right there. Is it actually broken up that much? Yes. There's a little spot connecting here. Then it kind of comes down like this, and then there's a divider right there. So I see a big light shape here. Then there's this really big shadow here. And all of this, I think, is kind of combining together. It's not really that important. I'd even go as far as to say this line here isn't really that much of a shadow until it gets here. And all of this is kind of... No, I'd actually say it's more like this. This shape is just kind of... Yeah, like this. Hello there, Vivi. All right. Well, good luck. I am indeed doing some proper studying. It has been a long time since I've done a photo study. So right now, I'm just kind of breaking down the light and shadow shapes that I see on the reference image. And unfortunately, I can't do that in the canvas where I'm actually drawing, because Krita doesn't let you draw in references. But that's okay. So I'm just kind of breaking down where I see lights and stuff. Various planes and shenanigans. Actually, you know what? Nah, this whole area is just really dark. I don't even need to split this apart. Her hand is very light, though. Doesn't really end there. It goes up here. There's a shadow here. That's a pretty notable shadow. And then around the finger here. I'm actually not sure what this is. But I guess it's not important. And then this shadow here. Let's see. Yeah, I don't think it's significant enough for me to really break it apart there. But yeah, this is kind of what I see in terms of shapes. So that tends to be how I see things. And then there's some more stuff over there, but I think that's sufficient for now to kind of explain what I'm seeing here. So I'll just leave this up for now, just as a here, this is how Planckera sees the world. I see many a shape. Okay. So, I kind of want to start with her head. I'm mostly doing this to study proportion. So I'll just stick with my usual process. We'll see how photorealistic I feel like getting. Anyway, this is bright, but I'd say the lightest point isn't on her forehead, it's on her hand, and possibly the knife here. So this is definitely darker than that, just to verify. Am I seeing it correctly? Ooh. I got some solid white here. They're the same. Okay, fascinating. No. No, I don't. Okay, so these are the same. The lightest point of the head and the lightest point of the hand are legitimately solid white. I was not expecting that. Okay. Well, that's ended up being more of a spoiler than I was hoping for, so I'll just go ahead and start drawing. I won't go ahead and try to color pick then. So my brain is still lying to me. Fascinating. Because I thought this point was definitely lighter, but I think it's just because the shadows around here are darker than they are up here. And it was making that seem lighter. Good to know. Okay. So I am doing this to try to study proportion a little bit. So, what I would like to do is try to place her correctly on the screen here, relative to each edge, because I think that is also a proportion. So I see that this edge of her head is closer to this edge than this edge of her head is to this one, so she's a little bit off-center. And let's see, but the part that I'm drawing, if I were to go in the part of her hair here, that actually looks pretty dang close to dead center to me. Let's see, like right about there. Okay. I'm really gonna have to be thinking about this. But it's okay, that's the point of studying. Oh, I mean, I'm not doing my usual process here. Normally, I don't care about these things. I just move them around. But it's like, if I want to study proportion, I gotta think about these things. So I'm going into far more mental detail than I normally would when I'm just drawing a picture. Okay. But yeah, that does seem quite close to dead center. I think it's actually just a little bit, very, very slightly on the left side. So on my picture, that would be like right here. It's pretty close to the top. So maybe like right there. So now I'm kind of looking at the angle of the hair here. Okay. And I see that the light rounds around her forehead here. I think I might be going a bit too low with some of this, but that's okay. I'm definitely gonna have to move some things around once I start getting facial features here. Okay, and so all of this is gonna be dark. Alright, I want to draw my box. But I think that's where the top of her head is, and then the hair will sweep down like that once I feel like drawing it. So if we have the eyes here, what is their angle? Her head is angled like, if I go on to the reference here again, so we'll have blobs of light and hot pink, and we'll have angles in sky blue. Bright cyan. Go the CMY here. So I see that her eyes, they have a very, very slight tilt to them, but it's very small. In fact, the line I drew is a little bit too sharply angled. So it's very small here. But it is there. And then the center of her head, I'm gonna go ahead and hide my blobs of light here. The center of her head, it's off-center. Just a little bit. Center of her head, I think, is like right here. Unfortunately, the part is off-center, so I can't... So that's definitely throwing me off a little bit, but I can see that the center between her eyebrows is like right there. And we go around the nose and stuff. So kind of a little bit sharp at the bottom there, but yeah, there we go. That's like how the angles of her head is set up. So the tilt is like... It's once again just a very, very slight angle. So it's kind of like that. So the head is just very lightly tilted to the right. And these lines should be like perpendicular to each other. This is somewhat exaggerated. But yeah, kind of like that. Okay, I'll go put my blobs back on. But that's roughly how I'm breaking it down in my head. And I do not think I'm going to be able to see things until I get, like, some other features on. So I'm going to go ahead and just plop down where the eyes are. And I actually think that her eyes here might be solid black. Let's see if I'm right. Ooh, not quite, but extremely close. Okay. So let's see, roughly where are her eyes? Okay, I want to get my box in. This is kind of how I've been handling things lately, where rather than just kind of guessing, I've been trying to make a box that is slightly in perspective. I'm going to go ahead and do it in green here. So I'm just kind of measuring things. Not green, blue. Look, I know my colors, okay? I think I intended to pick green, but I stopped at blue. It's fine. Okay. So I have the hair here, and the tilt of her eyes are like this. About how far over did they go? Kind of lines up with where the highlights from the part of her hair is. These guys. So if the part is here, I think the part is like right above her nose, actually. No, not quite. Inner corner of the eye? Okay. So one eye is going to be like right here. It's going to start kind of in that area. Which would make... Let's go ahead and put them in. Okay. About how big are they? This is too big, I think. They're going to be a little bit beady for a bit. It's fine. Look, this is exactly why I'm doing a proportion study. This is exactly why I want to take the time to really feel these out. Okay. So I should, in theory, be able to kind of construct a little bit here now. So the edge of her face... Probably, I think I have it about right there. The bottom of her nose. This is why I wanted to make it roughly the same size, this way I could measure a little bit more easily. I think the bottom of her nose is right about here. Like I said, very, very slight tilt of the head here, but it's super slight. Okay. So this should be roughly a location of head-related things. Let's go ahead and get a nose and mouth in there. Kinda try to measure that. Ooh, okay, so what do I use to kind of compare sizes here? I don't know. I should probably decide on something. So I could use an eye, but I don't know if that's a good idea. Let's throw in some hair before I get the face in. This hair, once again, I think is solid black with the way that I have it set up. Sure is. No, the hair and the eyes do not overlap. That's important, so that'll help me figure out the angle that this hair should go at. And I do think I have it a little bit too sharp, which means that I probably have this eye in the wrong spot. But let's just go ahead and get some stuff down. Okay. Absolutely nothing about this looks right yet. Proportions are hard. Okay, so this part of the hair does not come anywhere near the eye. In fact, it, like, drops off near the eyebrow. And I think I even have this, like, too low down. This curves pretty hard. Okay. Alright, well, let's see if I can get the tilt of the head itself in. I'll keep my cyan lines here. But I think I'm gonna hide the eyes. Because I think they're throwing me off a little. So normally if I'm drawing something, I'd kind of draw a square and then throw in the nose and the eyes and kind of place things like that. Which is why I did it in that order at first. But here I just kind of want to get the tilt of the head. It is super... I swear I see a slight tilt to the side here. But it's just so small. Okay. So let's try to find the center. I think it does something kind of like that. And then... her jaw is kind of lined up with her mouth here. And her cheeks with the nose. So I'll go ahead and draw some of that in. I'll just make it a solid color for now. I'll worry about getting some of the proper value groups and stuff in a little bit later. She doesn't have, like, a strong bulge on her cheek there, so I shouldn't draw that. I often do, just because it makes it easy for me to tell where the cheeks are. But she doesn't have that, so let's not draw it. I feel like her head is very thin here. Yeah, the head is too thin. Okay. I'm going to not use transform tools for now. I might change my mind. We'll see. So what I'm seeing here, the shape of her head, is there's this really nice curve from where the chin here goes up into her cheek. And I think it's cute. So I would like to bring that in. But I feel like I kind of also have to know where some of these facial features are. I mean, I think the nature of proportion is that it's basically how things are grouped relative to each other. So I don't know. I do think that is low, so let me put the eyes back in. Let's try to get their general shape. Unsurprisingly, me being an anime artist, I am drawing the eyes a little bit too big. I do not think that this is even remotely surprising. So let's get some eyes in there. Everything else is around the eyes is super duper light. So I'll just go ahead and block them in with black. Just try to get their general shape here. Can I use these to kind of measure where everything else should go? I don't know. Okay, and I'll just move this over a little. And let's see, I think this one is probably a bit wide, but I think I'm just going to go ahead and draw some stuff in. I was kind of trying to do basic measurements at the beginning, but now I'm not sure if I want to anymore. I don't know. Yeah, and I can see the slight tilt in her head through the nose, because I see one corner of the nose is here and the other one is a little bit lower. So if I were to kind of get that in, I think it'd be a little bit like this. And I'll go ahead and get kind of the upper lip here. It's quite close. Actually, her head is moving slightly forward, slightly down, isn't it? Yeah, I think it is, actually. If I look at how all these things are curving. Yeah, okay. I actually hadn't noticed that at first, because the angle on the head is pretty subtle. Okay, and I see it kind of lines up here. Let's go ahead and make that upper lip as pointy as it is in the reference here. And it'll probably be a while before this looks like anything. So I'm taking it nice and slow. That was why I was like, you know, I'm not sure how far I should push this or if it's even a good idea to do this on stream, but it's okay. I figured that I'd do a little bit and we'll see how far I get here. Okay, so we have a slight expression now. I kind of want to map in some of those shadows on the side here. Mostly this side. This side is basically cast shadow from the hair, and I think that the hair shape itself is good enough for now. But I kind of want to map in this side just a little bit here. And my head is too small. Okay. I'm gonna make it just a little bit bigger. There we go. Okay. So now that's a little bit rounder. Forgot that I had my airbrush picked right now while I'm kind of fixing up some other random things. I mean, I really do plan on getting that shadow on the side of the head, but look, I am distracted. As always, I'm a little bit easily distracted. And there's an ear over there, but I don't really care right now, so it's fine. That ear can be over there, existing, doing its thing. We'll pay attention to it later. But I am hoping that digging into how all these things work again will just aid me in construction of the face. I still feel like something about the angle of the jawline here is a little bit off. Let me tilt it just a little. That's a little bit better. Okay, so this shadow, to me, looks pretty light. Like, it is significantly lighter than the background. So I want to say it's somewhere around, like, here. I'm gonna go ahead and airbrush it in. How close was I? Oh, that actually looks dark. Yes, very. Okay. Let's try again. Maybe here. I think that might be light this time. I mean, to be fair, it's not consistent all the way across. Okay, I'm going to be a little bit more particular about where I'm trying to pick from. I'm going to pick from the side of her forehead here. So I think that's a little bit darker than down by her eyes. How's that? Is that okay? Ooh, yes, that is quite close. I mean, yeah, if I go off in random spots, then it is off, but yeah. The part I was looking, I was pretty close. So I will call that good. All right. Let's go ahead and block in the shadow here. Kind of goes around the nose, down the side. There we go. I'm not going to do the IY yet. I don't think it's important. I don't even think I want to do the glasses yet. Okay. Let's start giving her a body. So the neck. The neck I see has a few different ones here. There's this dark spot directly under her chin. And then it's a little bit lighter until kind of near the back. Okay. Okay. It's a little bit lighter over here, but there's a dark fold there, but I think I'm going to ignore that for now. I just kind of want to get the big group here, and then I think her chest is about the same as her face. Let me see if that is accurate. Yes. So yes, here is exactly the same as her face. And then it'll get dark around here again. Okay. Okay. Oh boy. I want to find this darkest point. So I think that is the first order of business here. So this dark point, I think, is darker than her forehead here. So it's going to be darker than this color that I picked up there. But I don't think it's a lot darker. So maybe like here? Is that going to be dark enough? Is that dark enough? Okay, let's find out. Oh, it's actually too dark. Okay, so I overdid it a little. Okay, I will try again then. I'm just gonna go ahead and lock the layer, and then I'll pick again. Let me pick a random value there. Okay. So it's a bit lighter than I think it is. Yeah, looking at it, I guess it's probably significantly lighter than the lips. Okay, that was a little bit too light. I might start going a bit easy mode on myself again. Yeah, that's about what I had before, but this is darker. So darker than this. But not much. Maybe just a little bit more. That was pretty close. I actually made it just a little bit too dark. Just a little. Okay. Okay, yeah, I think that's pretty close. So let's see. Now everything else is going to be just a little bit lighter, but not a lot. So maybe like right there. That's not quite enough contrast. Okay, that seems alright. How does that compare with what's actually here? So I had this one about right. Right? Yep, that's pretty close. But over here, I had way too light. Yeah, and of course things get darker near the hair. Okay, no, it just transitions more. I picked from over there, which I think is fine. Okay. So neck will connect on the jawline there, and it's gonna get real dark. Even darker than what we have here. That was like way over here. And it doesn't connect up to the ear. Connects on the jaw here. How's that color? Oh, it's actually way too light. Way too light. Okay, that's pretty good. Okay, so it kind of connects out here. And then we get a little bit more of kind of this mid-color out the side here. Yeah, it goes around her chin. Man, this makes her neck look super thick, but I think it'll be okay once I get her shoulders in there. I laugh nervously, but I think it will be okay. Alright, let's give her a chest. That's going to be kind of in this area. I'll just leave it nebulous for now. Alright, let's do some of that jacket. I have to decide what kind of thing I want to do for it. Do I want to just block in... Yeah, I think I just want to block in a general color here, so I can pick pretty much anything. Pick something... Let's see. I'll pick something darker than her neck here. So I think that'll be like somewhere around here. I'll just pick something. So I see it kind of comes around here. Yeah, I see it kind of lining up with her chin here. And we'll just block some stuff in. This goes about halfway between her head and the edge, so that seems good. The angle here. If I were to drop a straight line up, kind of lines up with her eye. So something like that. And it's okay, I am still doing this all on separate layers, so I can easily change things. I don't know, maybe I should just do it all on one layer, but... Would doing it all on one layer with no transform tools and the like actually kind of teach me how I'll actually be using the tools that I use? Because, like, one thing that kind of irritates me with how a lot of traditional artists talk is they talk like using transform tools is cheating somehow. And, like, it's all well and good that people can get their proportions right on the first try. But I don't think that there's anything wrong with actually using their tools to their fullest effect. This side is just so much lighter than this side. I mean, this shoulder is pretty light too. I'll put some light in there, but... Oh, and that was actually pretty close. Oh no, it wasn't. Okay, so it just thought I'd let go of control. Way off. Okay. This is where I say it's all well and good if people can get their proportions right the first time. I would certainly like to improve my own ability to get proportions right the first time. That's why I'm doing stuff like this. This is still too dark, isn't it? Yeah, much. But I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with using your tools to its fullest effect. This is still too dark. Way too dark. This is at least a little bit closer. Man, it is this light. I am surprised. Okay, that... I have it very, very slightly too light. Let's go ahead and drop it just a touch. Yeah, that's pretty much invisible. Okay. I am not actually sure if these values are the same here on both sides. I think this side is darker. A little bit. Like, right where it's in the light, it's a little bit lighter. So... let me just darken it very slightly here. Okay. I'll use that to kind of block in the top of her shoulders here. Alright. So this does not actually touch the side of her neck. If you look. I mean, it does, but like there's a gap there. Like this big black gap. So it actually kind of just wraps around it. Okay. And indeed, these values are pretty close to each other. There just happens to be a shadow in the middle. And as it goes further down, it gets darker. But I'm just going to leave it the same for now. I just want to get some stuff down. This shoulder gets very, very close to the edge. Oh, man. Shoulders and arms are one of those things that I have a lot of trouble with, and I'm wondering if part of it is just that my intuition, for whatever reason, feels like they should be shorter than they actually are. And maybe that's why I have so much trouble with it. This isn't dark enough. So that's good to know. I think even that's not dark enough, yeah. I kind of want to get that dark shadow at the bottom there. I think that might be okay. No, this is much too light. Okay. I am clearly afraid of my values here. I shouldn't be. I love contrast. Contrast is wonderful. Okay, that's pretty good. Yeah, I guess it makes sense that it'd be about the same color as what I have over here down there. Man, it is funny to me just how weird drawings look at the very beginning. I must apologize to Kson for making her look so strange, but hopefully it'll be better later. Just gotta give me some time. Just gotta give me some time. Okay. So I guess all this is just part of her sleeve where it's all bunching up. Let's get a hand in there. Don't mind the big holes everywhere, it's fine. I'm just kind of blocking in the big areas that I see. Where is the hand? The hand, like, the back of it goes almost all the way to the edge. And even the fingers are pretty close. Is this high enough? The angle of the fingers is slightly wrong here. And then we have a thumb kind of sticking out. Let me see, what are you exactly? Because, I mean... kind of looks like the thumb is resting on something, right? Let me go look at the full color version here. Maybe that'll help me out a little. Without all of my shenanigans. No, that's still just... yeah, it just hanging off the edge. Okay. Okay. So it's not hanging on anything. Don't worry about it. Just let the thumb do its thing. Okay, and then everything else is much darker. I think I don't have the thumb quite the right size. I'll go fix it momentarily. I just wanted that big light shape in there. So it was kind of bothering me not having it. Okay. And then I think the back of her hand is roughly the same as this. Let's see. So we have that, and we have that. Yeah, they are extremely close, so I'm just going to use the same color. And the thumb could kind of wrap around like this. Down and around. Okay. I do not have this hand close enough to the edge, and I feel like it is too big simultaneously. So that probably means that I have a major problem with proportion somewhere. Whew. Okay, well, let me start mapping in everything else here. Do I just have it... Do I just need to shove it a little off to the side here? Leave a little bit more space for all those folds in her coat here? Because I feel like these two are the same. Oh. This is much darker. Okay. Are you the same as this then? No, even you're darker than that. Okay. So I'll head on back over to the jacket. This is going to be that light spot just under the thumb. And then there's some really dark spots just in here. And I kind of want the structure of those folds in there. This fold is actually a little bit darker, but I'm going to use this color for now. Okay. I'm not really worried about that one. That one's fine. Okay, let's go ahead and fill in the rest of her side here. Kind of want to capture this fold because it separates the collar from the rest of the jacket, and I think that's actually kind of important. And then we have this part down here, which kind of sticks out and has a little square. And once again, just separating the collar from the rest of the jacket there. Okay. And this guy, he does not fold back in. He actually kind of folds out here. So we have this... the buttons here. So this is like... if I'm thinking about when you put on a jacket, there's the collar going around the neck there. This is the very top button. And so this would be the next one. So this is... actually going pretty far down. Okay. This opens up over this way. It's very thin here. And that's good enough for now. Kinda get some of this in there. And then that should be fine for now. Okay. Let's get her shirt in there. The way the shirt sits, it is... yeah, below this button here. I definitely do not have the angles on all of this correct. But I think it's just doing something like this. And then we have some darker areas around her chest here. Okay. Now then, let's get all this working together a little bit better, because there are a lot of things I think are off. I think my head is still too small. Let me see, the size of the chin. And the nose. I think... let me resize the head just a little here. So when I look at these, I feel like she has a slightly bigger chin than what I'm giving her. And I think I have the nose a little bit too far away from her lip here. So right now I just kind of have a line denoting the bottom of it and the angle that it's sitting at. Just like that. Okay, you know what? Let's get her glasses on too. I think that might help. So I see that her glasses kind of go through the bottom of her eyes here. Okay, comes out here. down and around under her cheeks. Kind of touches up on the side of her nose. This is a little bit too low. Let's go ahead and just adjust that real quick. So it's going to kind of rub up right against her nose here. Okay, then the other lens. Yeah, out of the corner of her eye. I don't know if I have the corner of the eye in the right place yet. But I'll go ahead and do it there. Okay. The bridge. And we do not see the other handle, I don't think. Is that it above there? It is. Okay, so it's just super round. And I just did not see it. So I have these drawn at a bad angle, I can already tell. Okay. You know what? Let's give her some eyebrows too. So I feel like my eyes are a little bit high. Wide, but not tall enough, so let me squish them a little. Okay. Eyebrows. They are shaped so nicely. And then it goes into her hair, which tells me I don't have the hair quite in the right spot either. Man. Okay. So let's see, the glasses here. They're a nice rigid object, so I'm going to work on getting their perspective right. When I look at the reference, I see that they're almost kind of leaning forward. Like, look how this side comes out. So this part looks like it is directly touching her cheek. So let's go ahead and just push it in a little bit. Kind of the same with the top, but not quite as strongly. Okay, those angles are a little bit better. I don't think the angle of her nose is quite right. But I think I kind of... I haven't drawn the knife yet. I think that's fine. I feel like the hand is simultaneously too big and too small still. But I think I want to go in and focus on the face a little bit now that I kind of have my rough ideas down, and I want to look. It's a little, like, thick, right? I mean, I guess I should say it's a little round. I don't think I'm too thick here. Let's see. This side might be in the wrong place slightly, but the hair definitely is. But I think I kind of want to start going in and really nailing down where all of her facial features should be. The face is what I wanted to study the most anyway, so let's go ahead and do that. Okay, I'm going to start with these, with the lips here. This is a little bit more like that. And I'm still just going to keep the shapes black. And I will fix the colors a little bit later. Okay, let's get the light spot for the teeth in there. They're not this light, but it's a start. It looks a little too smirky. Phew, man, I remember back in the day, I used to be able to copy photos so well. But it has been a long time since I've tried. It's okay, I think it's good to go back and revisit some of those skills. But I think I might make things a little bit easier on myself now and start picking colors. So let's see, I'll start with this one. I kind of want to start getting some of those right. And then the side of the upper lip here, it's a little bit darker. Over here, we get a little highlight. I don't want to go super deep into the different values here, but I want to get a couple of them. I want to get a couple. And light over there, and then it should get dark again, right? Yep, sure does. Okay. I think this is gonna bother me until I get her eyes right. But I don't know, the mouth just... It has a lot of information with how things are wrapping around. So maybe I will spend a little bit more time on that. I think this is just the problem of doing everything with a hard round brush. At some point, I should probably switch to softer brushes. But it's fine. Okay. Okay. I want to get the shape of this cheek a little bit better. Oh no, that's hand, not head. There we go. There we go. Just losing track of my layers here. Well, what else is new? It happens all the time. So I'm just looking here, and this is like super straight. Like it is legitimately almost vertical. I really wish I could draw on photo references. But legitimately, it looks almost straight. Let's go ahead and straighten this. And then we just get this little rounded corner where the cheek is. And the cheek kind of lines up with the bottom of the tip of the nose here. So it's a little bit lower than I think it should be. So I just got to keep that in mind. It is definitely lower than I feel like it should be. Okay. Let's look at those glasses. Since the glasses are such a rigid shape, and they are just black, right? Not quite, but pretty dang close. Okay, I'm not gonna worry about the little thing going behind her head yet. The strap there. Yeah, and I see that the light refraction from the glasses is actually having kind of an interesting effect on the black part of her eye. Let's go ahead and hide the eyes for a moment. I just want to drill down into this. So what I see here is that it's not really black all the way around. Through here, it actually turns like almost white. Right there. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's not actually anywhere near white, but it gets very bright. Let's say it like that. Like when I look at it, it's pretty close. These are pretty close. And I see there's a little bit of reflected light in her cheek and stuff. So I need to, like, severely thin out this line here. I'll go ahead and add those details a little bit later. But I do think that getting these right will help me out, and yeah, they're definitely rounder on the top than what I have. This is such a rigid feature there. Very distinct on this photo. So I think I will take some time to fully capture that. Let's see. If I go straight across. Yeah, it kind of lines up at the corner of her eye, and this part is noticeably lower. Let's get rid of the bridge here so I can focus on the shape of this lens. But yeah, right here is noticeably lower. Okay. Okay, and then down there was that super light part through there. And I guess it makes sense because we're seeing the top side of her glasses, I think. So we're seeing the part kind of covered by the lens, so it looks lighter. It looks lighter. Okay, and then I definitely have this top part too thick. So let's go ahead and thin that out. Okay. I don't think the shape is quite right. I have the angle going around her nose wrong. It's straighter than what I have. Let's go ahead and get that in. And then there's something on the bottom here, but I'm not quite sure what yet. I'm not quite sure what. But I think that's already looking a lot better. So that's nice. Let's go ahead and look at the other lens for just a second here. So this lines up with the corner of this pretty closely. I think it's a little bit lower. Yeah, just a little bit. Makes sense given the angle of her head. And then this corner, I think is actually pretty close to even. If anything, I think it's a little bit higher. So that's probably just something with the shape of the glasses. But yeah, we have this thicker corner where the bridge will come out. And then this is like roughly even, maybe slightly higher. Okay. Yeah, then I definitely see that the lowest part of the glasses here is slightly lower than they are compared to the other side. And we don't get that same effect as we do over here. So this kind of thing exists because her face is turning slightly to the left here. And this is all definitely straighter than I think it should be. And this side is, yeah, the angle is very sharp. Maybe not quite as sharp as what I have, but very, very sharp. And they still feel super crooked, but that's okay. One step at a time. Let's grab Liquify now. So up here, this should be much more rounded. Okay. This should be a little bit sharper over there. And a little bit straighter over here. Okay. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. We have some glasses. So they connect just below the apex here, and the bridge is really, really straight. I keep wanting to curve it like around her nose, but it doesn't do that. It's straight. Super duper straight. Currently, I think I had the angle a little bit too strong, and it's a little bit thinner on the left side. Okay. Man. It's like I don't feel like they're entirely correct, but I think it's okay. Her forehead is bigger than this, though. Okay, let me place the eyebrows here. The eyebrows and the hair, I think, are where I want to position next. How do I calculate where they should go? This lens is too small relative to this one, but I think this one looks really good. Because I'm thinking about using the glasses as a way to measure some things, but... Ooh. The fact that I don't have them quite right makes me a little bit afraid. Okay. Alright, let's just feel things out then. Let's see, how do I feel about the hair? Is it in a decent spot here? I do feel like it is about right. But the fact that it is not lining up with where I think the eyebrows should go, or the glasses, means that I probably am missing something. I see a little hint of her ear here, so maybe I should put in an ear real quick. Its value is actually a little bit lighter than the side of her head here. Let's go ahead and put in some of the dark area on the side of the head here. Yeah, there should be a little bit more space between the edge of her glasses and the edge of her head. The arm there is longer. And it's curved, so I'm having a hard time figuring out how it's supposed to be drawn here. Man, using like every part of my brain here. It's okay, someday I'll get into rendering mode and we'll see how far I feel like pushing this. Or if I even feel like doing it on stream. I don't know, it's kind of interesting just being able to see exactly what I'm trying to draw here. I think it's kind of interesting. For once, the thing I'm drawing does not only exist in my head, so you can kind of follow along. Yeah, and then I see that this plane of the face is a little bit darker here, around her cheeks. Man, I have to remember how to do everything. It has actually been a while since I've used a proper opacity brush besides the airbrush. And I don't think that the airbrush is going to get me the kind of texture I want here. Okay. Anyway, me saying a little bit of nonsense, but that's okay. Let's go ahead and get an ear in. That kind of does something like that, and then I see that it comes up there. I don't know, do I want to draw it on top of the hair? I guess I could. I guess I could. Let's do it. So we got that little bit coming out there. I see, okay, so that's where I'm kind of messing things up. Okay, this is where it's good to draw the features, because I looked at the ear here, and I was observing that the bulk of the hair does not go beyond the ear. There's a little bit up top here that does, but with the way I have it drawn, the bulk of the hair is very much going way beyond where an ear could go. So I think her ear is doing something like this. It's like not quite even horizontally with her eyebrow, so I had it a little bit too high. Where is it relative to her glasses here? Goes a little bit above. And a little further out, actually. So I think the ear is doing something like this. And this angle is wrong, but I think I have the start and end correct. So let's start moving the hair around relative to this. Okay. Yeah, that does look better. That actually looks much better. Nice. That was all it took. I'll just go ahead and try to get some of these shapes in here. I feel like it should be sticking out a little bit more. Like, the angle I have on the side of her head is wrong. Okay, let's forget about all the little bumps here. Let's just go in and try to get this. Let's just get that. Oh, man. But yeah, this is definitely making me rack my brains. My head already hurts, and I feel like I've just gotten started. Oh, photo studies are hard. It has been a while since I've done proper studies. It has been a very long while. And it's like, man, I remember one of my first ones. I spent just so long copying the whole thing, but what I got by the end was pretty dang close to photorealistic. The only thing I really messed up was the hair. And I was so happy. It was one of the things that convinced me that I could indeed draw. And probably one of the reasons I kept trying. So I'd like to channel some of that energy from past me. Although I'm pretty sure past me did it all on one layer. I'm actually wondering if I still have that PSD. I don't think I want to attempt to do this on one layer, though. I kind of want to be able to just mess around. Okay, but that looks a lot better. Get rid of some of the giant head syndrome I had going on here. This line here is actually pretty straight. So let's capture some of that. And I just always have to remind myself that things look pretty bad at the beginning. So hopefully I won't feel the need to apologize to Kson forever. feel like the back here should be a little bit thicker. Just the distance between, like, here to here. But I feel like I have the front bang here pretty okay in terms of angle and distance. I don't know. I'm starting to see some likeness. I mean, she doesn't have eyes. But that's why I say starting. I guess I'll put in a few of these lights just because I think it'd be useful to know where the card is. And then it's kind of light up there. But I think that's sufficient for now. I just need to get the bigger shapes in. Okay, I think I would like to do her eyebrows because her eyebrows are very distinct here, and I also have them too dark. They are more this color. Where do they go to the relative to her glasses? It's going to be lighter on this side, but I think I'm going to save that for later because that's not really lightness. That's more with it being hair and transparency and texture. And I think I would like to tackle all that a little bit later, so I'm just going to get the shape for now. Does it meet the bridge of her glasses here? I think so. I think it does. It's a little bit wider than her eye. Okay. I'm not convinced I have the bridge of her glasses in the right place, but I will use that as my landmark for now. And then this side is pretty short. How far away from the edge of her head is it? Again, not sure if I have the edge of her head in the right place, but... See, this is kind of my struggle with proportions. Proportions are about how things are relative to each other, right? Something cannot be small without something else being big. And I'm always like, okay, where do I start? What do I use as my first comparison point? And for me, that has kind of been the head, right? But then how do I make sure that the proportions in the head are correct? And so, like, I understand that because they're all relative to each other, that I just pick one spot and base everything around that. And that should work, but it just never has quite worked for me. I don't know why. That's okay. This is why we do some practice. And I would like to understand the facial features of this lady. She has very interesting ones, I think. Lots going on, lots to look at. Okay, that shape is not exactly right. I think this part is still a little bit too long. Okay, hold on. That's just because I was doodling on the reference itself, but I don't want to deal with stuff outside of the canvas, so I'm gonna crop. There we go. Now nothing exists outside the canvas anymore. Okay. Let's go ahead and tuck this in a little bit, try to get it the right length. I want it the right width there too. Okay. Now I'm going to move this whole thing over. Perfect. And now I can just make this part a little bit longer. And that should get the shape of the eyebrow a little bit more correct. Okay. Let's do the other one. Now this one is interesting to me because this one goes under the hair. Which tells me that I probably don't have it in the right horizontal position here. Because if I did, I think it would be too long. I do think it needs to be a little bit longer than it is, but not that much. Once again, a little bit wider than her eye. And I think it lines up, yeah, with this part of her glasses. So I think I have it in a better spot now. Okay, let's get those angles. The eyebrow here is very flat. So let's get that flatness in. Yeah, and I see it starting to tilt down near the edge there, but only just barely starting to. Before then, it is very, very flat. At least on the top. No, it's pretty flat at the bottom too. There's just a little bit... There's this part where the eyebrow's a little bit thicker on the bottom there. And then at the edge, it's just very slightly starting to turn downward. Okay. Getting somewhere. Yeah, I think I'm getting somewhere. Okay, so flat on the top here. Turning slightly downward near the end. Okay, that looks pretty good. Let's give her her eyes back. Maybe I can actually draw them now. Big sigh, but you know that's okay. I'm just thinking. Basically, I know her glasses aren't quite correct, so I think I'm going to take them off for a second. And I want to get her eyes in the right place. Because I think the eyebrows are looking pretty good. Yeah, because now they're not looking too long. This one might be a little bit too long, but this one doesn't really look that bad to me. Sorry, just thinking about this for a second. Let's see, where are you relative to the part of the hair here? Yeah, I think you might just be very, very... slightly too long? No? No, it doesn't seem so. Okay. I will trust it for now. So when I look at the eyes here, this eye, I think the entire thing just needs to go to the right. Okay. This one is just wide on the side. It should, the very corner is just slightly shorter than the eyebrow there. And now that I look at the eyebrow again, I feel like the bottom corner turns a little bit more. There we go. Okay. So right here. Unsurprisingly, the anime artist is drawing the eyes a little bit big. But I actually do feel like this corner lines up with the eyebrow here. And I gotta say that doing this is giving me some new perspective, pun unintended, on how to proceed with those headshot drawings that I've been doing, the practice ones. I think it is time to bring some photo reference into that. Okay, so the part that I want to nail down now. Once again, I'm still not drawing the eye white. And that is fine. It doesn't have to happen yet. But I see this big angle here. So there's the highest point of the eye. And I'm trying to figure out where in the eye that point is. And it's looking like it's not in the middle. It's a little bit to the left side. And it just has this nice curve all the way up. And then this corner really goes up like that. And so, and I think some of this... I'm gonna zoom in here. Yeah, this angle has nothing to do with her nose. Her head is not at a sharp enough angle for the nose to cover any part of this. So this is just the shape of her eye, and then I see kind of a... Is that a double lid? Actually, let me check over here in the color version. Yeah, that does look like a bit of eye makeup as opposed to a double lid. So I think that's all that is. Okay. So I'm gonna try to ignore that part. Easier said than done, because it is dark, very close in value to everything around it. Okay. And then it doesn't meet down in a point. It's like very round in the corner. And then of course the bottom is just one simple curve. A fairly flat one at that. Fairly flat one at that. Okay, I think that's a little closer. Let's go start a little bit on the other side. This one is actually being broken a little bit by the glasses. You can see that this part sticks a little bit further out than this part. I don't think I'm quite ready to capture that, so I'm gonna try to kind of merge those shapes a little bit, even though it means that I'm not exactly drawing what I'm seeing. I feel like my distance relative to her eyebrow here is quite good. Maybe needs to be just a little bit more, but it's pretty dang close. That is too much. That's what I mean by it's pretty dang close. And then I see that her eye kind of curves upward like this. I wouldn't be surprised if this is partially due to the tilt, but partially due to her cheeks pushing up the bottom of her eye here. Then how far to the edge of her hair? I need the eye to be just a little bit wider, I think. Either that or the hair needs to be. I'm not sure which. So I'll just go ahead and try to draw this for now. I do feel like it does need to go just a little bit more to the side there. But now I feel like the eyes are kind of far apart. Okay, you know what? That was a feeling I was getting. So let's go ahead. I'm going to put the eye back. And I'm going to move this eyebrow over to match up with the side there. And then I'm going to adjust the hair and the side of her face accordingly. So I'm going to put this hair just where I think it should be relative to her eyes and eyebrow. And I'm going to try really hard to capture the angle from here at the part all the way down. So I'm going to stare at that so intensely, I'm going to burn some holes in it. Let's go. It's very straight. This is actually the angle that kind of made me think that she was leaning forward. Okay, and with that in place, I'm going to go ahead and put the ear where I think it belongs. So it just barely sticks out there. Okay, and then I'm going to fix her jawline. Yeah, her chin is perhaps a little bit wide here. This... And this is too long in mine. So what am I doing wrong here exactly? How far is her mouth from the side there? Is my mouth too narrow? Or is her head too wide? I think my mouth is too narrow. Okay, let's go back to the mouth for a little bit. We're just gonna jump around for a little bit, it's fine. All is well. Right now, my mouth is definitely really, really off. Okay. So I see that all of this should be much thinner than it currently is. I want to capture that value just right in the corner. I'll get it on this side. Because I think it's going to be pretty close to black, if not actually black. So this is going to be kind of where her teeth start. And then we get another little corner out here. This might be a little bit hard to draw without the nose. Maybe I should do the nose. Yeah, sure. Let's do a little bit with the nose. Okay. So the value I grabbed was the one from this corner. So let's start there. Okay. I'm just staring at it for a second here. So I see the bottom there, and it kind of comes up. Okay, then I see, like, she's got a nostril. I'm gonna have this all in the wrong place, man. Maybe I should just put the nose on another layer, so this way I can just manipulate it on its own. Okay. So now they're separate. Then we got the edge here. Let's see. I'm gonna put the glasses back on for a second. Because it says it should be like here. Where is it relative to the eye? Yeah, we don't see any of, like, the bridge of the nose or anything on the eye there. Asian features are so soft. Unfortunately, for me, it makes it a little bit harder for me to see. But it's okay. Okay, so my nose is too high. Let's go ahead and push it down. I think I am starting to see the likeness, though. Starting. Like, it's just getting there. It's just starting to get there. Okay, and then we have, like... I mean, I just accidentally drew an anime nose, but... it's okay. Let's see here. Okay, and... I'm gonna go back to the mouth for a second. I'm gonna draw some of her little dimpling here. Is there, like, at the bottom of the glasses? Yeah, it goes, like, all the way out from the nose. So I definitely have my nose too narrow. Definitely have my nose too narrow. Huh. Is my value on her cheek too dark? It looks like it. Let's go ahead and lighten that up then. So this way I can use correct colors. And I can continue just color picking and making my life a little bit simpler. Okay. I think I just made her age 10 years, but it'll help me place features, so it'll be worth. I'll blend them in and she'll look a little better when that time comes. All right, let's make this nose a little bit wider. That should be the side of that nostril there. Okay. Where does this match up with the eye? Yeah, about at the corner, so if anything, I still have it a little bit too small. Then over here with this eye. But I'm also not convinced I have the eyes entirely correct. I think I have their corners in pretty okay spots, though. Okay. Okay. Yeah, the eyes are definitely not quite right because the glasses are not lining up with them properly. So something in that area is wrong. Just gonna do a quick stretch here. Okay. I want to start getting at a couple of other values just to make me feel good about myself. And I would like this to be a little bit more correctly shaped. So there's kind of a dark spot out of the corner of the eye here, and... okay, I think that's good for now. I think that's good for now. Okay. So some things that I noticed. I mean, I'm gonna keep doing the nose. But just a couple of other things. I can tell that the eyes are not quite lined up correctly. I think the eyebrows are good. I think the angle on the hair is good. And I can tell the mouth is not wrapping around her face correctly. Like, the teeth are not all in the right spot. I think that's actually probably the easiest thing to fix right here, because all I have to do is push them out a little bit more. Let's go ahead and get their values correct too, because right now they're too light. And with any luck, this will help me see how they tilt. And I just realized I had the layer locked, so that's why they weren't going in. There. So let's hope that lets me see the tilt a little bit. I still don't really want to draw her eye whites yet. I actually remember the old me doing photo studies. I did that quite a lot, where I just leave the eyes hollowed out in black, because that tends to be how I saw them anyway. Because, like, even if you look at the eye white, it's quite dark relative to her face. Like, if I take this color, this is, like, the lightest spot I can find in there. And this is the face just outside. They're actually pretty much closer than they normally are here, just because I artificially upped the contrast so hard in this picture. So I could see these value groups a little bit more easily. And have something that I thought would be a little bit more interesting to draw. But I also gotta say, I don't know how people can just do studies all the time either. I know there are some people out there that are just super into it, but man... it hurts my brain, and it is not nearly as creatively fulfilling as drawing my own things. Taste is a funny thing. Okay, I'm getting too deep into stuff here. Let's see here. I gotta get the big things. Let's get this nostril. And her nose is so much more shapely than this. Right now I just kind of have it as a big blob. It is so blah. Okay. Oh yeah, look at the thumbnail. It's getting there. I can kind of see her. I can kind of see her. Oh, that actually feels pretty good. I can kind of see her now. Let's see here. Let's just... I want this nostril tilted a little bit more down that way. This part needs to go away, and then there's like a spot right there that goes up. And it's not exactly a nostril. Like, her nose, I can tell, it's tilted downward. Between her hair and the nose, I can tell that she's looking very, very slightly down, because we do not see any nostril. The closest is that we maybe see a tiny, just a tiny little. Okay. Okay, I think I'm getting somewhere. I don't know, though. Her nose feels a little fat, doesn't it? I'm gonna turn off the glasses again. Well, no. I want to keep them on. Because there's something off about the eyes. And if I start messing with that, then at least the glasses gives me another point of contact. But it's like I know there's something slightly off with the eyes, I just don't know what it is yet. And I was kind of hoping that working on the nose a little would help me. But I just don't know. I've never been very good at drawing noses. I like drawing noses. I think they add a lot of nice character to the face. So I've actually been kind of looking forward to studying them a little bit here. So this way, maybe I can draw noses a little bit better in the future. And I can actually make noses look like specific characters and specific people. So I gotta say, that was one thing I was looking forward to when going into this study here. But I don't think it looks like her yet. And that's hard. I don't think it looks like her nose yet. So I'm still trying to kind of pinpoint why. So that's why I'm doing a bunch of color picking from the image here. So that this way I can kind of get those little values out of there. I guess it's looking a little bit more like her now, but I don't know. Like, I just see this big dark shadow along the side here, and I know part of it is a cast shadow from the glasses. But I'm not quite sure how it melds into her cheek. Okay. I think that's good for now. I still don't think it quite looks like her, but I think that's as far as I'm gonna get in this moment. So I think I'd like to move on to another spot. Which spot do I want to do? I think I want to do a little bit with her chin, and then I want to go revisit her eyes. So let's take a look at that chin again. What is this angle where it kind of connects up into her ear? I feel like all of this is just too long. Which would also mean that her chin is too long. And I actually do think the gap from the edge of her lip here down to her chin on mine is a little bit too long. And if this is the case, then it might also give me some answers as to why I'm having trouble getting her eyes to look right. Maybe I just have her face a little bit too chonky down there. Man, for a little while I wasn't so sure about this, but now it's really interesting again. Yeah, now it's all really interesting again. Faces are cool. Just the exact details of the features that we see, that we recognize as belonging to this person. that lets us see the difference in people. It's so cool. It is. I like it. I like it a lot. And now I'm really being able to dive in and seeing, okay, what features do I see that make this person that I'm trying to draw look like Kson? What can I do in order to try to match what I see here? And which features do I have drawn that is just making it not look right? It's fascinating. I don't know if I want to do photo studies often anymore. I did when I was a baby artist. I often didn't finish them, which is why I very rarely actually posted any, just because I took so dang long. But, yeah, it might be a nice thing to do occasionally. Okay, I feel like I'm getting her, capturing her chin now. I do. I feel like I'm capturing her chin pretty well. I can't use the mouth as a complete reference here because I can tell that this thick part of her lower lip here is not right on mine. So I think I'll leave it there. And this is just telling me that, you know, when I do this stuff, I do just have to kind of work on everything together. Let's see. Okay, I think that's as far as I should go until I do a little bit more in the mouth. So let's do a little bit more in the mouth. Let's try to get the thickness of her lips. So I can kind of see things wrapping around here. And then she has kind of a thick little plump right out there. I mean, all of her lip is pretty thick. Like, let's be real here, but right there was just a little bit more. And then, even though she's smiling, I feel like this part of her lip is actually, like, turning down, the angle of it. And that is actually kind of surprising to me. That downward turn is a little bit exaggerated, so I should fix that up just a little bit there, but I never expected there to be like a downward fold in a smile. That's kind of interesting. Okay. And how about this side? What do I think about this side? How do I feel about this angle of the corner of her mouth? Long, but otherwise accurate, I think. So let me make it just a little bit shorter. And the lip does not quite connect to it. So there we go. All right, well, with all, I actually do feel like that I have learned quite a lot just from doing this much. And we're not even close to photorealistic yet. we're just barely starting to capture some of those features. Okay, this right here, pretty straight. Well, yeah, we're just barely starting to capture some of those features, and I have already learned this much. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to open up requests for heads again. And I'm going to keep grinding those. Those are a little bit more fun to do than studies. And I can also iterate on them much more quickly. much more quickly. So yeah, after the stream, I'll go ahead and make a post in my post tab and probably a post on Twitter and be like, hello, I am drawing OCs again. I am taking requests again, so feel free to send me your thing. Although actually I might just save it for next time I finish ahead, because odds are that's going to be in the next day or two. Okay. I still do not have the angle on this mouth at all correct. Let's see, can I zoom in and still keep her in frame? Barely so, no. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to make sure that I have the angle on the upper and lower lip correctly. So I'm going to be doing a bunch of liquefy. And also a bunch of... I don't know, just checking angles here. The angles of her teeth and the angles of her lip. Okay, and where does this line up kind of with her eyes? The last tooth. Yeah, is well within her eye, so I do not have this quite wide enough. What about on this side? The last tooth. I want a smaller brush to help me measure here. Not in her eye. Well outside of it, actually. So yeah, I think I have that pretty okay. Yeah, and I still see that it kinda curves off over here, which it still feels very strange to me. But I very clearly see it. I very clearly see it. Okay. Let's go back into liquefy, and I'm going to fix the angle on the upper lip here. Kind of does something like this. Okay, and I will pull this lip out just a little. I think it needs to be a bit rounder. I also need to kind of cut off the edge there, so let's do that. Does not quite meet up with that dark spot. Not quite. Okay. Back into liquefy. But you can see, this is why I didn't want to do color. Just imagine if I was having to worry about color on top of all of this. Okay. While I'm trying to figure all this out, oh man, my brain would have been busted. I'm actually pretty sure that this is going to be the one I do twice a week instead of 3 times. So Cubase will be done 3 times a week now, just because it would melt my brain. I can only take so much of this. It's hard. It is so hard. I have to really be able to look at things in ways that I'm not quite used to yet. Or I haven't done in a pretty long time. I can't believe that I used to like work on these like every day when I was a baby artist and just trying really hard to learn everything. I think I've mentioned in the past that my early art, I was very much going for semi-realism. So being able to kind of capture features and stuff was really important to me. And I just got away from that kind of recent years. So now I'm just flexing parts of my brain that I'm not used to flexing. They're a little bit out of shape, but it's okay. I'm sure they'll get there. My brain is strong. Alrighty, let's see. I think this goes a little bit further out. Okay, like I said, that angle is pretty straight. Yep, flexing that brain! It's doing its best! I'm gonna get that lower lip. Yeah, this is much more curved. Okay. So I think the next thing I want to do is make the glasses a little bit less crooked. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna, you know, take my neon pink here and I'm gonna draw a line through the glasses. Make it a little thinner than that. Like, no, that's a bad line. Okay. So this is the angle that I should be going for, and wow, I actually got really close to hitting that. Dang. I thought I was way further off. Okay, good to know. My brain's got this. Way to go. All right. I'm gonna draw another one. And this time I'm gonna go from on the top. From about here to where it is on the other side. We'll take them over together. Where'd they go? Okay, there they go. They didn't want to move. Okay, there we go. I got the bottom pretty good. But the top is what was way off. That explains it. Okay. This admittedly feels a little cheaty to me, but man, I gotta do something. I gotta do something. Let's let myself cheat a little bit here. Hide the eyes for a second while I line this up a little bit better. Because, man, I need something that I can trust here. Okay, so I had it placed kind of like this. Now I just kind of want to speed up my study process just a little bit here. Okay. And I should, with just those two lines, be able to get everything else. As long as I go back and look at the reference a lot and really examine those angles. Okay. Okay, I'm getting somewhere. I do feel like they are much more looking like they're sitting on her face now. Okay, and I want to drop down over here. This angle should be a little bit stronger. Let's see. And you should actually be a little bit further away from the hair. Let's push you up to the front of her face. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's hitting it. Look how much better that looks. It's unbelievable. Okay, I'm glad I can still at least take a few angles from the reference if I feel like I need a little bit of help. Even if I can't draw directly on it, I can still do this. Okay. Almost there. Almost there. And then with this, I think I should have a much easier time actually going in and finding some other proportions. So I can trust this now. I can trust this. Sometimes you just need someone to trust, and all the world comes into perspective. It's hard when you can trust nothing. Okay. And then I'm hoping that once I kind of get the basics of the facial proportions done here, that I'll be able to go and do a little bit more with the body, but I don't think I'm gonna do any more with the body today. I'm not even sure if I'm gonna do anything with the body next time. When is next time? Saturday? Yeah. Since this is replacing drawing Yofi. Something still feels off about the angle of the bridge, though. I don't know what. Okay, that helped a little, actually. So it's just, I think it's straighter. Yeah, it's straighter on the left side here. So it's perspective shenanigans, I guess. Makes sense. Okay. Let's go ahead and hide my glasses guide. I'm gonna call it that. I'm even gonna make a new folder for it that I call cheating. Okay. There we go. So if I need to cheat a little bit, if I need a little bit of help with my angles, I'll go for it. But I'm gonna try to do it with as little as possible. I would like to actually make myself spend the time to really look and try to figure out things myself. Just gotta do my best. Okay. Something still feels off about just about everything. So oh, it's okay. That's what I'm doing now, right? Trying to figure out those things. But hopefully, with the slightly more trustworthy glasses, I will be able to figure some of these things out. Okay. Yeah. Now her nose is actually starting to look a little bit more like her. It's not there yet, but it is closer. And, you know, it's fine to take baby steps. It's fine to be just a little bit better than you were before. As long as you keep heading that direction, you'll get there eventually. So here we go. Let's get it. Let's get it. Yeah, this nostril does not at all touch the glasses. This one does, but this one does not. And this side is a little bit rounder. Okay. That kind of looks like her nose. I think as I get the shading more accurate, it'll start looking more like hers, but I think I have the structure not bad. Like, this nostril's not quite right still. So let's go ahead and try to get him a little bit more accurate, and maybe that'll help. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I can see it. Let's see, what are you? You are from the glasses, so let's just get a little mark in here, see if I can let you match up a little bit better. Okay. Yeah, I think once her eyes no longer look like black pits from hell, it might actually kind of look like Kson. Yay! Unfortunately, her eyes are going to be black pits from hell for a little bit, but that's okay. We all have a little bit of hell in ourselves. Okay, let's start getting the eyes again. This time I'm actually going to leave the glasses on. I actually got this eye pretty close. Nice. But the corner of the eye here exists outside. Yes, exactly. Exactly. I see that the corner of her eye actually kind of exists outside of the glasses. Glasses may not be 100% trustworthy yet, but they are at least, I don't know, 85% trustworthy. I think I just have this part slightly off. My god. What did I just do to her poor face? Well, do I have her glasses too high up? Because you know, that might actually be it. Let's go put this back down. I think I have her eyebrows placed, like, perfectly. I'd actually go as far as to say that the eyebrows are more trustworthy than even the glasses. Okay, now that seems about right. How about the distance here? How big are you? I have it, like, right about there. What about here? Yeah, I have that about the right size, I'd say. Just using my brush size to figure out correct sizing here. Okay, how big of a distance between the eyebrow and the glasses are there? About this size brush. And this is at the lowest point. So here. And indeed, it does look like I had the glasses a little bit too high up. Okay. Push them down a little. They are really hanging off her face. Wow. A little bit more. That seems too low. Do I have her eyebrows too low? I don't think I do. Do I have the rest of her features too low? You know, perhaps. Because that actually does line up where I think the eye should be, so... yeah, maybe I do have everything that's a little bit too low. Or too high. Eyes... we'll move the ear down too. Let's see. I have her nose and her eyes here. Let's just get her the entirety of her nose and eyes in this brush here. Yeah, that seems about right. Okay. Yeah, I think that's actually a little bit better. Cool. Let's get those eyes in the correct location. I would like to do that before I end here, but other than that, I think I actually have her feature placement not bad. So I should be able to hopefully do a little bit more with that next time, and we can start getting into the body. Oh, that's exciting. I was worried that it would take me longer to do this. Ah! Oh, yes. I think I know exactly what I want to do with my facial practice. I will learn how to draw fast. I'm gonna do it, man. Let's see. Here, glasses. Can you be hot pink for a second? Just so I can see the difference between you and the eyes. Okay, let's get those eyes in there. Okay, I'm gonna check the difference in distance between the top of the eye and the eyebrow here. So about this brush size. Okay, so yes, I have this about right. And what about on the corners here? About that brush size. If anything, I have my eye a little bit too close, which is not that surprising. But she has way more eye underneath her glasses here. So I have the top of it in the right place. But I do not yet have the bottom in the right place. The bottom needs to go a little further down. And where is this corner? Is it in the glasses or out of the glasses? It is like right on top of them. And the corner of the eye lines up with the eyebrow. And the edge of the glasses there lines up with the bridge. Okay. Do I have the eyebrows too far to the side? How about the nose? Does not reach the eyebrow. No, I think I have this. I think I have that pretty good. Okay, so it is the glasses. How wide are the glasses? From the bridge to the little cat eye part. About that big. It's a little wider. No, I feel like I have it about right. It's not shaped 100% right, but... Mysterious. That would mean that I don't have her nose in the right place. Okay. We move the nose over then. I can do that. I feel like half the battle is just figuring out what you're doing wrong. Okay, let's get this a little bit more nicely rounded, like it should be. Okay. How are we doing? Does that look better? Actually, I think it does. I do need to get this inner part straight. This part is surprisingly straight. I say as I make it slightly more curved because there is a slight curve to it, but... It's okay, surprisingly straight doesn't mean perfectly straight. Okay, I think that's good. Let's go ahead and try to line up the corner of her eyes now. So it kind of lines up with the eyebrow here, so it should be a little bit wider through there. And I think I have it a little bit too close to the edge of her face. There. Okay, yeah, that looks pretty good. It's a little bit rounder on the top. Okay, but I can see it. I think it's okay now. Let's get this one. So I'm gonna measure from the eyebrows again on the glasses. So first let's get the width of the lens one more time, or the frame here. Same idea. Okay. A little bit wider. Okay, I can do that. Alright, let's compare there. Too wide. Overdid it a little. As is common for me, but that's fine. Okay, how's it sitting on the nose? I think it's rounder than what I currently have. And a little bit rounder over here. I just gotta tuck in this corner, and I think that'll be okay. Okay. And then I think this part right here comes up a little bit more sharply. Okay, and I'm gonna check my cheating. Yes, I moved everything down, so my cheating is a little bit off here. Let me turn this green so I can see. Alright, not quite lined up with my cheating, so let's go ahead and do that. Very important. This line I know I can absolutely trust, so gotta make sure everything lines up with it. Okay, but I wasn't that far off, so there we go. We'll turn off the cheating now. Okay. Okay. Let's see. The corner of her eye is firmly inside the glasses, and it is not on mine. Let's go ahead and get that in there. It's just barely in there, but it is firmly in there. And let's see, the two points where they meet here. The outside one is higher. And currently I have them about even, with the inside one a little bit higher. So this needs to come down. I think it needs to come in a little bit too. Okay. And now I just need to round out the bottom there, because right now it's just a little bit too flat. Okay, that looks really good. Most excellent. Okay, let's see if I can figure out this next eye in the next 15 minutes. Let's do it. Okay, so the inner side, firmly within the glasses. Okay, so I have that about right. Distance from the eyebrow. About there. At the highest point. Okay, where's the eyebrow? I have mine a little bit too low. Okay. Left to right to the eyebrow. Almost to the edge, but not quite. There's a little bit hanging out. And this side, just before it starts turning down. Okay, I think I have it just a little bit wide on this side. Just a teeny tiny bit. But this side is good. All right. Today we learn how to measure. Okay. Height of the eye. About like that. Yeah, that's pretty close. I have the top just a little bit too high here, I think. And then the outer part of the eye is sitting just on the glasses. I can kind of see the corner. So it's like just outside. So it'll be something like this. Sitting just kind of outside. I want to line it up with the left right there. Okay, there's horizontal distance, there's vertical distance. I think it's about the right distance from the eyebrows. Let's start looking at the shape here. So the eye apex is on the left side. Kind of in the middle of the thick part of the eyebrow. So I have mine skewed super hard. Whoop. Get it on over there. Okay. Something like that. How's that looking? Does that look like her? I think it does. Let's go ahead and turn the glasses black again. Okay. Okay. Yeah, when I look at my thumbnail, that does kind of look like her. I can kind of almost recognize them as the same person. There's some parts that seem off, like I think her eyes feel a little bit too far apart. So I'm wondering if I still have her head a little bit wide. So this is the distance between the eyes there. And indeed, they are a little bit far apart. What is the distance of her entire head here? Just the entire width. Let's include the back of her hair for now. So, like, around there. If anything, her head is much bigger. Okay, let's do it without the hair now. So I'm just gonna do from the cheek to where the hair touches there. This is actually pretty accurate, so it just tells me that I have the hair wrong. Okay, how tall is her head? Once again, I think I'm going to do the chin to where it would touch the hair here. Pretty dang close. Okay. But my eyes are too far apart. That means my eyebrows are too far apart too. Yeah, just a little. Okay. I'll go ahead and do those first. I will do the eyebrows and the eyes together. That's going to make the glasses a little awkward, but I want to do those separately. Get them in there. Okay, that seems better. What about you, between the eyes? I'm basically just adjusting the size of my brush to measure them. Because that is a very unbiased angle I can use. Yeah, my eyes are still a little far apart, even though I think that they are correctly positioned relative to the eyebrows here. Oh no, this one actually isn't. This one actually isn't. Okay. Well, that might make things a little bit less complicated. Okay, good. I mean, I got it wrong, but it means I didn't get it, like, horribly wrong, and I'm not gonna have to do a bunch of weird measuring. I do not think that these eyes are wrapping around her head correctly now that I have the glasses off, though. So I probably still have some stuff to fix. This is pretty dang close, though. Okay. I'm gonna take another look at the shape of those eyes. Where do the corners line up? Here. Yes. So this corner is significantly lower than the other corner, and I'm pretty sure they're about even in mine. Okay, what about these two corners? Yeah, noticeably higher. Noticeably, but not like huge. I think this is actually maybe okay. Okay. Well, honestly, I think it looks fine when I have the glasses on, so maybe it's fine. Maybe just a quirk of how I ended up drawing it with the glasses. I will push this corner up just a little bit higher, though. Let me see, I'm gonna make the glasses hot pink again. Oh, whoops, that's, not the brush. Whoops. Just taking a look at how they sit relative to the glasses here. Okay. I think I know what to touch. This part too flat. It needs to come up. There's some shenanigans happening with her cheeks here that's pushing her lower eyelid up. So it's shaped a little bit differently than I expect, and it's actually shaped a little bit differently than the other one even, because the cheek is not pushing the eyelid up quite as much on this side, I don't think. Yeah, her smile is a little bit lopsided, isn't it? Okay, and the corner just, like, barely comes outside. Just barely. And I really need the glasses to be black in order to see things. Oh yeah, I think that looks a little better. I think it's getting to the point where they kind of look like the same person. What about the nose? I told myself that I was going to finish off with the eyes, but then I look at something else. I can't stop. I have to stop in 5 minutes. But I have 5 minutes, so I'm going to take them. Okay, let's get the bridge of this nose a little bit nicer here. Kind of comes in. This part kind of comes down. This part is a little bit too round. Humu. Okay, so... noses are hard. And I might need some time to figure that out. I think, to be honest, that's kind of expected. But I'd say right now the nose is probably the weakest part. It is no longer the eyes, so I can be satisfied with that. And I do think I got a little bit closer there. Right now it's a little bit crooked. But it is closer. And I will take closer. I just feel like mine is, like, facing the wrong direction. It's hard to describe. But when I look at this, I feel like our center lines are in different places. So, like, let's see here. Okay, I can zoom in one more click here. Around there, around there. This goes like that. And I get rid of a little bit of shadow here. And it's slightly driving me crazy, so I'm actually going to soften right there. Normally I have no problem with seeing things in a hard, round brush, but I don't know, man. It's just looking kind of bad, so I'd like to soften it a little bit. Fortunately, I'm allowed to do that, so here we go. I'm probably just gonna mess it all up next time, but that's okay. Whatever helps me see. Okay, and then we have this dark part over here, which I think needs to come a little bit further to the left. And then this nostril here wraps around here a little bit more. And here's a little bit straighter. And here turns a little bit further this way. And once again, I'm gonna go do a little bit of softening and get a little bit of shadow on the tip of the nose here, and hope that that also helps. I mean, all of this will be softened at some point, if I decide to finish it. I'll see how far I take it. Okay, yeah, that's a little closer. And I'm also realizing that I think... Are you like... No. For a second there, I thought it was one of the little pads, you know, on glasses that sits on your nose, just this part here. But I don't think so. I think that's just some shadow on... Yeah, that's just some shadow from the glasses. That is probably also throwing off my ability to see how this nose works. To be fair. Okay, and with the last 2 minutes I have, I'm gonna push this in just a touch. Flat. There. What direction are you pointing? Up. And round. Okay. Yeah, that's a little closer. The good news, I think it looks like her. So I think I can be happy for today, but I am very much out of time, so I gotta stop there. I don't really want to, but I gotta. So yeah, the beginning was a bit rocky for me, but once I said, screw it, let's just get stuff down, and just got stuff down, suddenly things went a little bit better. So you just gotta do it. Pick something and go. And yeah, I do think that I will at least do this next time, and I think it's likely I'll do it next week. But, we'll see how far I want to push it. I am really happy with how it's starting out so far, and I'm looking forward to doing more. But this is where I will stop for today, so thank you all for coming. And I hope you're able to make something wonderful today. I will see you all tomorrow.